The security of the nation depends on the men and women who serve in the 5 rings of the Pentagon. Before any military action can be taken anywhere in the world, the mission must be planned and approved in the outer and most important ring, the E-ring.
You bastards can either talk to us or talk to those dogs. Your choice! Who's gonna tell me where the American is, huh?
Take it easy, take it easy.
Just wanna make sure these guys know we are not fooling around here, JT.
That's what the dogs and the Mossad are for. They're the stick where the carrot. You got it?
Yeah, boss, I just gotta keep my cool. It's just...
I know.
Why was Captain Wilkerson having such a hard time? Colonel, I asked you a question.
I put everything you need to know right there in the after-action report.
Yeah, I know. I read it. It is a fascinating exercise in military doublespeak. Multiple elicitation techniques, unique hard sell tactics. Want to define unique?
You're the one with all the fancy diplomas, Doc.
Are the accusations in the press true?
Which accusations would you be referring to?
Did U.S. Special Forces engage in the torture of Lebanese civilians?
I don't believe in torture. I don't condone torture, and my men and I do not engage in torture. Now, if you want to take my blood pressure and ask me if I'm feeling suicidal, I can say no. You can sign the form like you always do, and I get back to work.
Have a seat, JT.
Look, Doc, I got a lot on my plate.
Sit down, Colonel. JT, you and I have been doing this dance off and on for a lot of years. What's different this time?
You tell me.
Look, the mental health of special operators is my responsibility. Now, I know you guys like to pretend that nothing ever rattles you, but I've known you long enough to tell that something's not right.
Something's not right. Is that a clinical diagnosis?
You're going to take me through this one, JT, start to finish. And you're going to prove to me that you are not completely full of crap, and that you are capable of dealing with whatever it was that really happened to you over there. Otherwise, I'm not going to sign off on your eval. And you will be placed on indefinite medical leave.
All right. We were over in Lebanon working with the Mossad on a snatch and grab of a high-value target. Abu al-Hijazi commands half the military wing of the Lebanese Hezbollah.
Says in the report here you got your man. But something went wrong.
During our exfiltration, things got a little chaotic. We ended up leaving one of our guys behind.
Worst thing an operator can do.
Well, it's right up there.
Must have been hard for you to keep your cool. Like it was for Bobby.
I guess it was tougher than it usually is, but I managed.
What made it tougher?
They had my friend.
شايف هالسبب ومريك. Who are you? Where am I? What do you want? What do you want? What do you want? What are you doing? No! 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 No!
This inquiry isn't going away, Miss Liston.
Then you need to make an appointment with my office, Wilson.
This is a very serious matter, ma'am. You have been subpoenaed by the Senate Select Committee on Intelligence to answer accusations that the United States Special Forces recently tortured Lebanese civilians in their custody.
Al Jazeera propaganda.
See, that's good. That's what you need to tell the committee.
Good, then we're done.
Ma'am, you had this job before I did, and I am certain you would have advised the Assistant Secretary of Defense you worked for to prepare his statement thoroughly.
Actually, I would have found a way to stall the committee, Wilson.
Well, you're a better lawyer than I am, ma'am, because this isn't some run-of-the-mill congressional hearing about school lunch programs. This is a special session called by one of the most powerful men in the United States Senate, and he's out for blood. Specifically, ma'am, Yours.
When I debriefed Bobby, he seemed to think that leaving Charlie behind was his fault. Why is that?
Charlie was supposed to provide overwatch across the street from the hotel where we attract al-Hijazi. He saw something suspicious in the building next door and radioed Bobby to get permission to check it out.
What about the Special Forces two-man rule?
That's why Bobby feels guilty. He let Charlie convince him that it was okay to do it alone. And we grabbed al-Hijazi, things got hot, we bugged out. Charlie never made it back to the rally point.
So, they've got Charlie. Then what?
Well, we had no technological means to track Charlie. We needed human intelligence fast. So we worked with Mossad to identify local Hezbollah affiliates, those with connections to al-Hijazi. Try to find anyone who might have a clue as to where they'd take Charlie, and we rounded them up in a sweep.
The detainees at Shabbat Farms.
Now, those of you who want to answer our questions, tell us where the American is.
اللي يريد يتكلم ويحكي لنا وين الأمريكي.
Take a step forward. We'll take down your statement according to the rules of the Geneva
خادم
Convention.
والعمل حسب قوانين جنيفا.
Now, those of you with something to hide, our friends the Mossad have their own particular techniques to motivate you.
اللي ما يتكلم الموساد راح يديروا بالهم عليه.
So who's going to be smart? Tell us what you know.
مفهوم كركم رايحين منثار ولا حدا يعرف.
Oh, I get it. You're all afraid of reprisal. But don't worry, your countrymen cannot see you. They will never know that you cooperate.
مفهوم كلكم خايفين من تار ولا حدا يعرف إن كان اتكلمتم أو لا.
There's one.
حدا واحد.
Good.
زين.
And another one.
واحد ثاني.
Okay, last chance.
آخر فرصة.
There's another smart man.
آخر فرصة.
Well, at least a few of you are making the right choice.
خليل يقوم يفوتوا.
Mossad will be back shortly for the rest of you.
So you lied to them.
I prefer to think of it as creative deception.
That's a nice euphemism. But let's face it, JT, you always were an excellent liar.
Well, flattery ain't gonna get you anywhere, Doc.
Did you lie in this report about your interrogation techniques?
Is this a psychological debrief or a criminal inquiry?
Just trying to figure out where your head is at. After what happened with Charlie.
Your friends who cooperated with us are enjoying a nice meal right now, while we verify the information they've given to us.
نتأكد من المعلومات. ما حدا راح يعرف هوياتهم.
Now, some of you have already been implicated by the information your friends have shared with us. Does anyone else here want to talk before we turn you over
أي
to
واحد
Mossad?
يريد يتكلم قبل ما نسلمكم للموساد.
You really think this is gonna work?
We got some volunteers, didn't we?
Well, who knows if they can tell us anything?
We'll find out.
They've had Charlie for 16 hours, Hefe. Do you really think we should be wasting time playing mind games?
You can't just throw the rule book out the window, Bobby.
Then let's turn this over to the Mossad. This is their neighborhood, and they got their own set of rules.
I'm not gonna let somebody else do the dirty work for us.
Not even to save Charlie's life.
They're not gonna kill him right away. They're gonna assume he has intel about where we sent al-Hijazi.
Yeah, and what do you think they're doing to him right now to get that information?
I've been wondering that myself. What did you suppose the Hezbollah were doing with your friend Charlie at that moment? Interrogating him?
No.
But you said the Hezbollah would have assumed that he had valuable intel about where you were holding their leader.
Yeah, and they would have also wanted details about who Charlie was.
So why not start interrogating him right away?
That's not how they work. At that point, they would have still been setting the conditions for a successful interview.
What do you mean setting the conditions?
I mean, for a while, they wouldn't even bother asking questions. They would have just kept bringing the pain.
Is there even a method to that madness?
Sure. When they figure Charlie's well-trained in counter-interrogation, meaning he's not going to crack easily. But no matter how tough you are or how well-trained you are, if every time somebody walks into a room, you're conditioned to expect something even more excruciating, eventually you're just going to start talking without needing to be asked.
Did you consider using similar tactics to get the people in your custody to tell you what they knew?
No.
Why not? These Hezbollah operatives were brutalizing a man that you loved. A man it was your responsibility to protect.
Yeah, well, I don't brutalize anybody. Especially not defenseless people.
I thought the people you rounded up were known Hezbollah affiliates.
Affiliate is not the same thing as operatives. That part of the world, you'd be hard-pressed to find anybody who doesn't sympathize with Hezbollah. It doesn't make them all killers. And what if we heard somebody who doesn't know anything?
We're at war. They're enemy combatants, right?
Look, even if the guys we're interrogating know something that might help us, doesn't mean they're going to crack under torture. Sometimes it just hardens them. Other times they'll say anything just to get it to stop. But you're not going to get good intel anyway. And what if we go too far? Kill the detainee? Well, he's not going to be able to tell you anything then, will he?
So it's about tactics, not morality.
It's about both.
So you've got 3 guys separated from the group who claim they're willing to talk about where your friend is being held. How do you know the information they give up is accurate?
You don't. That's why interrogation is as much art as it is science. First, you find out everything you can about them, so you know how to direct the questioning. You can learn a lot about somebody just from what they have in their pockets. If they smoke, you've got a carrot to use. If a lot of jewelry tells you they're vain, maybe bribable. Cell phones have a record of numbers recently called. We check them against the NSA, CIA, and Mossad databases looking for other persons of interest they might have called. In this case, we also had a smashed cell phone from a cafe we raided when we rounded up the detainees at Hezbollah hangout. Whoever destroyed the phone had something to hide, but we didn't know which prison it belonged to.
Any luck?
$20 says whoever smashed that cell phone has a good idea where we could find Charlie.
It's a dude smart enough to wipe the prints.
Maybe one of our volunteers saw him do it.
Well, Assad's got files on these 2 guys. They're both low-level Hezbollah militiamen.
Well, they might not know exactly where Charlie is, but I bet you they know someone who does. What about this 3rd guy?
Amada Bibi. No files, nothing useful in the way of pocket litter.
I sell fruit. ما تهمني السياسة.
Because he doesn't care about politics.
This guy looks like he's scared out of his mind.
Okay, let's assume for now he's got nothing to tell us. Focus on the other 2. What is your job?
I'm a driver. I bring Al-Hijazi to hotel.
You don't know anything about a missing American.
I'm simply a courier.
You don't know anything about the missing American.
I'm simply a courier.
Who of Al-Hijazi's men would know where the American is?
I don't know who can tell you where he is.
Who broke the cell phone in the cafe?
Cafe very crazy when Mossad come. I not see anybody break cell phone.
Did that frustrate you?
Does it frustrate you when I don't give you the answers you want?
Answer the question, Miss Liston. Does the Department of Defense condone the torture of detainees in United States custody?
Define torture, Senator.
No, that's evasive. Makes it look like you have something to hide. It's like Clinton saying depends what the definition of is. Got him impeached.
I'm not smoking cigars with interns, Wilson.
Go ahead.
Miss Liston, is it your testimony before this committee that special operators working under your aegis adhere strictly to the rules of the Geneva Convention?
Yes, that's correct.
Would you mind reading this into our records, Miss Liston? The highlighted area.
In the global war on terror, the Geneva Convention has become an anachronism. Our special forces in particular need new legal parameters to allow them to exploit more physically aggressive techniques. What the hell is this?
You should know, Miss Liston. You wrote it.
Yes, at the request of the SecDef 3 years ago when I was Deputy General Counsel.
And now you are in charge of the same men and women whom you argue should be able to employ a wider range of interrogation techniques, including but not limited to waterboarding, sleep and sensory deprivation, prolonged stress positions.
Are you trying to embarrass me?
Guys.
Why didn't you just tell me you had this thing instead of ambushing me?
Because the committee isn't going to play nice, ma'am. They'll not only ambush you, they will force you to read it in a public session in front of television cameras. And if you don't handle it right, you'll not only lose the job you have, you may not be able to find another one.
So these men volunteered to talk, but they weren't giving you anything useful.
Well, they were hoping we'd believe they really didn't know anything.
So how do you get them to be more forthcoming without crossing this ethical line of yours?
Bobby had the same question.
We're not getting anywhere.
They're not afraid of us.
You want me to tell them Assad it's their turn now?
No. I want you to go to the market for me.
Wait here. What's going on?
Bring him in.
Get up. Get up.
Now look, I don't want anyone else getting hurt in here, all right? We're in the Israelis' backyard. They don't have to follow my orders. So please, just tell me what you know.
So you watched while the Israelis killed one of the detainees?
Of course not. We were just putting the fear of God into him.
But the body, the splattered walls.
Goat splattered and cauliflower. The dead body was one of my operators. That's why I sent Bobby to the market. Look, I don't know how many times I have to tell you, we didn't hurt anybody.
Did it work?
Popped the cork right out of the bottle.
The man who breaks cell phone in cafe. He's called Nasser Gilwan.
We already have him in custody.
Thanks.
His family was killed in the Civil War in the 80s. He was raised in a Hezbollah orphanage.
Hezbollah is his family.
How do you get a guy who has nothing to lose to turn on the one thing he has?
One of your blood brothers gave you up.
Then he's not my brother.
We'll eventually get all the information we need off your cell phone.
It is useless.
No, it's not actually. We got all kinds of technology. We can find out who you called, who called you, where they called you from. Track them down in less time than it'll take to convince your entire neighborhood that you're a lousy traitor.
Even if you can make it work, it will not lead you to your friend.
No. But you're gonna help me find him.
You think I'm going to help you save the life of an American?
I think you'd rather talk to me than to the Mossad. Because you know I won't do to you what they will.
No, you won't. You don't have the courage. I do not fear you or the Mossad. I do not fear death. I'm ready to meet Allah. Is your friend?
Well, that's a real doozy, Ms. Liston.
If what I wrote becomes public, I'll end up taking the fall for any abuse, real or imagined, committed by anyone in uniform.
And you figure a crafty old operative like me would know how to make something like that disappear.
Well, without breaking any laws, of course.
Well, I could, but I won't.
Colonel.
The tactics you suggest that ought to be legal make my stomach turn.
Colonel, I hope you don't think that I personally advocate torture. I was acting in my capacity as a lawyer under the direction of the SecDef.
I was just doing my job. Ma'am, if I had a nickel for every time I heard
Colonel, you
that...
should know better than anyone here. We follow orders.
Not when they're unlawful or immoral.
And who gets to decide that?
Somebody who spent 5 years in a bamboo cage getting the crap kicked out of him by the Viet Cong National Kickboxing Team. There is no place for torture in a civilized society, period.
Even when we're at war.
Especially when we're at war. It's when we're most in danger of losing our humanity, so we gotta hang on by our damn fingernails, even if the other side thinks it's okay to pull them out with pliers.
Colonel, I'm not advocating ripping out fingernails or sticking needles in someone's eye.
No. You're just saying that waterboarding was okay under certain circumstances. So where is the line, Sonny?
Well, that's what the DOD is trying to determine.
And you know what happens while all those lawyers and politicians are trying to figure out how far they can push that line? Our soldiers in the field get no clear policy at all. And pretty soon, 20-year-old reservists are stacking naked Iraqis on top of each other, saying cheese for the cameras. And before you know it, we look like sadists who don't stand up anymore for the very thing we're supposed to be fighting for. No, Sonny, the only policy we should have is zero tolerance, no intentional infliction of physical pain under any circumstances whatsoever, no cruel, inhuman, degrading treatment. Full stop.
Well, I obviously struck a nerve here, Colonel. And I'm sorry that I bothered you with this.
You still want my advice, ma'am? Don't try to hide from that document. Own it. And if it really does misrepresent your personal views, then set the damn record straight.
So what do you do when you're running out of time and the man you're interrogating is willing to die or be tortured for his beliefs?
You try to change his beliefs.
الأعمدة الرومانية وسط البلد.
Abu al-Hijazi. Recognize him?
I thought you were turning me over to the Mossad.
I thought maybe you'd want to see this first. Al-Hijazi's like a father to you, right? He found you when you were, what, 8 years old? Pulled you out of the orphanage, gave you a place in the world, a family. He must have been really angry when we took him away yesterday.
I do not need a new reason to hate America.
You want to know why we took him?
Because he defies you. Defends his people against you.
Really?
دائما بيجتمعوا في مكان اسمه مقهى النجم.
This is him. telling us we could find you and your friends at the cafe. And you can bet if he knew where the American was, he probably would have told us that too.
It's a fake.
No, it's not a fake. This is your father, your leader, saving his own neck.
You're trying to trick me.
How do you think we knew where to find all of you?
He's old. We must have tortured him.
Oh, come on, Nasir. He doesn't have a mark on him. The fact is, he cares more about himself than he does about you. Did you know that he killed Muslim women and children?
Lies!
The bombing of the Balaban Hotel in 1991 in Beirut. 54 Lebanese hotel workers and passerbys killed on the street. Not one American, not one Israeli.
He had nothing to do with that.
Oh, you were too young at the time to remember. He claimed responsibility.
Lies! Lies! They changed this tape to say what they want! You God! Can't be!
Did the Israelis doctor the tape?
Nope. And that's the irony. This Al-Hijazi, the father Nasir was willing to be tortured for, willing to die for, he flipped the moment we snatched him. Kind of felt bad for the kid.
You empathized with him.
Well, it's a mistake to demonize your enemy. You have to understand their capabilities. You have to respect them. I mean, this boy, he was born into war. He lost his entire family. He clung to the first human contact he got like it was a life raft. And they started feeding him all this anti-American, anti-Zionist propaganda. And
What? What is it, JT?
That's why I knew it was going to go hard for Charlie. I knew what they were going to do to him.
I don't get the connection.
Charlie got this tattoo. I tried to talk him out of it.
You're a Jew.
You're talking to me now?
Are you a Jew?
No, I'm Cuban.
And why do you defile yourself with Hebrew?
It's an expression my mother used to use.
Your mother is Jewish.
No, but some Cubans in Florida call themselves the Jews of the Caribbean.
You know, because we're in exile. And we do so much suffering.
Gam ze ya'avur. This too shall pass. Your mother was wrong.
No!
Come on, JT. You can't outlast me. What happened with Nasir? Did telling him his hero had betrayed the cause make him talk?
Been at this for almost 24 hours, JT, and the guy's still not talking. Look, you've done your best. Let Harari do what he does. Hell, let me take a crack at him. I'll take the heat when we get back. I don't care.
Look, it's not about getting in trouble, Bobby. It's about right or wrong.
You think the people who have Charlie give a damn about what's right and wrong? They're probably waterboarding him right now. You remember what that feels like from counter-interrogation techniques, huh? It feels like you're drowning, JT. Now imagine it over and over again. My name is Pedro Alvarez. I'm a cartographer for the UN. This is Charlie we're talking about, man. If these guys can play hardball, then so can we.
We're not them.
Yeah. Maybe that's why we're gonna lose this damn war.
Bobby. Bobby.
I'll just leave it.
I know you don't approve of our methods.
Look, I just think there's a better way.
When you have lived your whole life surrounded by people who want nothing less than to annihilate you, blow up school buses full of your children, then you can judge me. Until then, that's God's job.
Look, don't come in here and try.
I've been giving you a lot of room because it is your man who's missing, but what we learned from these terrorists could save a lot of Israeli lives in the future. How did you put it? This is my backyard, and I don't take orders from you.
So you watched while someone else performed the torture?
No, I didn't watch.
But you couldn't help imagining what was going on. And what were you thinking?
Whether it would work, I guess.
And on some level, were you hoping it wouldn't? So you could feel justified in your decision not to do it yourself?
I suppose.
You suppose what?
I'm not proud of this.
Not proud of what?
I was hoping that Harari would succeed and save my friend.
I know where they're holding out Hijazi.
They will already have moved him to a place that you would not know. But you used a local informant, yes? Someone who betrayed his own people? I want his name.
torture work?
He gave up an address.
The Mossad got Nasir to give up the name of someone he claimed knew where Charlie was. Bobby went to round him up. They put him on ice. Started pounding him with questions. It turns out this guy knew nothing. He was a leader of a rival faction.
So Nasir lied.
He gave up something that sounded good to get the torture to stop.
Just like you predicted might happen.
But it wasn't just self-preservation. He was smart. He got the Mossad to arrest one of his enemies.
So you were right. Torture doesn't work.
He's got to have a pressure point.
He's been beaten. I've seen tape of his leader turning on the group, and yet he still won't talk.
There's nothing we can take that matters to him, so we can't break him. But his friends can. All of Nasir's friends in custody knew that we'd been working on him. But the Mossad uses Arnica 5000. It's a topical cream that prevents bruising, so he looked untouched. So we showered him down, got him dressed so he looked clean, well cared for. And with a little help from the CIA, the Mossad did some clever splicing of all the audio from our previous interrogations. Pretty soon we had a brand new conversation that made it sound like he was giving everything up. I want to apologize for the way the Mossad treated you. I don't believe in torture. And I don't believe you know where our man is, otherwise he would have told us. Anybody would have. They would have been through what you have. Are you hungry? What, you think it's poisoned? Point to something. That's pretty good, actually. Bobby, you want to give us some privacy?
That's enough fresh air. Bring the prisoners back inside.
We can give you a new house, a place to start over. But what will you give us in return?
I will help you.
Tell us where the American is. Hati.
I am ready. Move. I will leave you to your friend.
What are you looking at? Move!
Biggie.
أنا إطلع أشتر منه. سلمتهم إضمانا. أصابوني.
You better get him out of there before he gets hurt. Look at the way your brothers treated you. After you stood up for them, withstood pain for them, they turned their back on you.
Because you tricked them.
They'll never accept you now. You can't go home, not if you want to live. But we can help you. We can fly you anywhere you want. You can begin a new life. Maybe take a girlfriend, start a family.
And did he take the deal?
Not immediately, but we gave him time to think about it.
Time you didn't really have, because of what was happening to Charlie.
You have done very well, Charlie. Maybe your mother was right. Your suffering will pass. You would like to see her again, wouldn't you?
What else do you want me to do? Want me to read this on TV?
We train our operators to try to get on TV. Anything that will give us a clue as to where they're being held.
I'm sure Charlie was doing everything he could to stay alive. Just like you were doing everything you could to save him. You were doing everything you could to save him, weren't you?
Nasir decided that what we were offering was better than the alternative.
I have a sister. I call her my sister because we grew up together.
We can get her out too.
I do not know where your friend is. But I can tell you who does.
Who?
Abu Kharif Aboud.
He's lying again.
I am not lying.
We've been trying to find Kharif Aboud for years, but he's a ghost. There were 5 on him, but no one knows what he looks like or where he is.
Do you know where we can find him?
You already have him. You know him as Ahmad Habibi.
The fruit vendor?
Fruit. I sell fruit.
We've had this son of a bitch in a lockup the entire time.
It's hard to believe Kharif Aboud has been living as a fruit vendor all these years.
Clever guy.
Sadistic, too. Killed a lot of Israeli women and children, but he's not content to use rocket attacks. He likes to personally beat his victims before he kills them.
Says he's college educated. Father was a wealthy olive merchant. 7 children, only 1 boy. Named him Muknia. I want to meet him.
Why his son?
He named the kid after the founder of Lebanese Hezbollah. He was paying tribute to a torturer by naming his only son after him. Now, people say if you want to get to know somebody, you meet their parents. Well, in that culture, if I want to see how a man sees himself, I meet his son. And based on Aboud's penchant for violence, I had a pretty good idea what kind of father he was. Oh, no, leave it open. Hello. I promise I'm not going to hurt you, all right? So don't be afraid.
Makush.
Will you please lift his shirt a little for me?
شيل شوية القميص.
Shukran. Please give them something to eat. Take them home. You speak English, right?
Little, very little.
How often did you frequent the cafe where we found you?
I don't understand.
I'm sorry, frequent. Visit. How many times the cafe where we found you?
2 times a week. Bring fruit 2 times.
Why do you need a college degree to sell fruit?
No college. No college. I
Oh, come on now. You can cut the act. You're known to Gare as Karif Aboud, right? Hezbollah militia commander. Spent the early 80s raiding Israeli border villages, killing women and children, right? Now the Mossad has finally put a name to the face.
Nasir told you who I am. He's weak.
Actually, he was very strong. He never broke under interrogation. We just made it look like he did. So you want to be smart? Cooperate with us? You tell me where you guys are holding the American.
Your friend's already dead.
Oh, I don't think so. You guys would have made a big deal about how you killed an American that we videotaped.
I'm sure it's on its way.
Oh, I hope not. Because Muknia, he'd be very upset. Yeah, that's right. I had a long conversation with your son. He's a sweet kid. Doesn't want to grow up to be anything like his dad.
You lie!
Oh, you don't think we have your family? As soon as the Mossad found out who you were, they went right out and grabbed your wife, your daughters, and Muknia. And I can't promise that I can protect him from the Mossad until I get my man back safe. That's the deal.
But you didn't have his family.
You didn't know that.
Why did you let them go?
Because they were victims.
But why give up your leverage? Charlie was a victim too.
There's a difference. Charlie knew the risks.
So that made it okay for Hezbollah to do what they did to him.
You know what? I'm done.
No, you're done when I say you're done, Colonel.
I want the rest of the story.
You beat your son? What kind of man beats his son? What kind of man does that?
Yes, I beat my son. To make him strong. I'm willing to let him and the rest of my family die if it pleases Allah. What are you willing to do?
You're human. Nobody would have stopped you from waterboarding that guy or taking one of his fingers. I mean, that's right up your alley, isn't it?
It must be easy for you sitting behind a desk passing judgment on soldiers and what they should or shouldn't do when everything's on the line.
You're right, JT. I've spent my whole career behind a desk. You know why? Because I don't have it in me to do what it takes, like you guys do.
What is that, reverse psychology 101?
I'm just saying, you're trained to do violence. How many lives have you taken? You probably don't even keep scoring.
That's where you'd be wrong.
Okay, so you've killed a lot of guys, sometimes where you're looking them straight in the eye. And you've come in here and you've told me all about it. So why would you even hesitate to do a whole lot less to somebody who could have stopped your friend from suffering?
Because it's different.
Why?
There's a code. We weren't on the battlefield, you didn't have a weapon, it wasn't a situation of him or me.
We're talking about a known terrorist who murders women and children, who abuses his 10-year-old son.
Doesn't matter.
Hits home for you, doesn't it?
Oh, here we go. An operator loses control.
So you lost control?
No, I didn't. But if I had, I'm sure he'd put it right down to my daddy issues.
So knowing this guy beat his kid like your father beat you, that didn't make you want to hurt him even more?
Wanting and doing are 2 separate things.
So if you stuck to your guns, why are you so haunted by this?
You will lose this war.
You seem pretty sure of yourself.
Because I fight for my beliefs. You people fight for your interests. So you will never go as far as we will, because when it truly matters, you have nothing on the line. What, you'll win this war in 5 years? Huh? 10? What you don't understand is we've been here for 5,000 years. And we will be here for the next 5,000 years. Hey. You've run out of time, my friend.
My name is Sergeant First Class Charlie Gutierrez. I am an American soldier. I come here to force My will on the peaceful people of Allah. I do not condone what my government is doing.
Where did this come from?
Ran on Al Jazeera 10 minutes ago.
Are they asking for a ransom?
No.
You know what that means, JT. They're done with him.
Years ago, I authored a document trying to define the legal line between adhering to our international agreements and doing what may at times be necessary to protect our national security.
Allah created man from earth, and I return to earth now
Watch this anymore.
to pay for the unforgivable actions of my nation.
Look at his hands.
Yeah, they did something to him.
No, the other one. Roll back the tape. He's tapping out Morse code. A, Z.
A, J.
No, that's an R. Azar.
Our informant.
He's letting us know what they got out of him. Send a team to get Azar safe now.
It is my personal belief that that document was ill-advised. In my new job, it is important that I provide our soldiers in the field with clear direction. They deserve leaders who are guided by a moral compass of their own.
Unique hard sell tactics. Isn't that really just a euphemism for torture?
Look, what do you want from me?
I got a copy of a medical report on Karif Aboud.
And you waited till now to ambush me with that?
I wanted you to face up to the truth on your own. So what happened?
They're gonna kill him. And all he cares about is making sure that they don't kill our snitch.
What happened, JT?
And that piece of dirt knows where he is. We've got to do something, JT!
Okay. I did it.
Take it easy, Bobby.
Don't tell me to take it easy!
Bobby! No! Bobby! No!
Tell me where he is!
Don't do it!
The United States must never condone torture. It is a crude and ancient tool of oppression.
Tell me where he is, or I go to work on the other knee.
Get off me!
It is not who we are. It is not who we want to be.
Come on, hotel. Basement.
Go get Charlie.
Get him a medic. I broke my rules of engagement. I broke the law. And you're right, I broke my promise to myself. So if you want to go get the MPs, go ahead. I'll wait right here.
I told you, JT. I'm not a judge. And I don't blame you for acting in the emotion of the moment to do what was necessary to save the life of your friend.
Go! Charlie!
JT!
I'm here, brother.
Cut him loose! Hey, I'm here.
It's all right. Charlie almost died because I wasn't willing to cross the line.
But in the end, you did. And if you break your own rules, how long until you become the thing you're fighting against? You're afraid this job is changing who you are. I'm signing off on your eval. Go back to work, JT.
I don't understand.
JT, my job isn't to decide right or wrong. My job is to evaluate your mental state. And you seem fairly sane to me.
So that's it?
What do you want, a hug?
No, I just thought that you were going to try to make me okay with all of this.
Colonel, I don't want you to ever be okay with all this.
Look at that right there. Sergeant First Class Charles Gutierrez, alive and well. All his fingers are back where they belong, full of painkillers. Looks like he's about to be on the receiving end of one outstanding government-issued sponge bath.
I'm glad he's alive, too.
But
we shouldn't be patting ourselves on the back. We should be ashamed.
Ashamed of what I did? Or what you didn't do?
What I didn't do is write you up. It's the only reason your ass isn't in the stockade right now. You think he's gonna be proud of what happened?
Yeah, well, he survived. That's what's important, right?
What's important is that he's willing to put his life on the line for what we all believe in. You think he would have wanted us to treat another human being the way he was treated? Even if it did save his life?
I do it again, JT. Every time.
You know what, Bonnie? Someday we're not gonna have missions to go on. We're not gonna have each other to keep our heads straight. We're gonna be alone with our own ghosts. And we're gonna have to live with them.